Now we start Newsday in the United States, where a manhunt continues in Utah for a gunman who killed conservative activist Charlie Kirk at a college event on Wednesday. Authorities have released new footage of the suspect in the moments after the shooting. You can see him jumping down from the roof and then heading out into the street. He is carrying a bag. The FBI has also released new images of someone they call a person of interest in their investigation. Earlier, these images were made public. Utah's Public Safety Department says the individual appears to be of college age. The FBI is offering a reward of $100,000 for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person or persons responsible. Authorities say they recovered the weapon, an imported bolt-action rifle, in a nearby wooded area, wrapped in a towel. Governor of Utah, Spencer Cox, said authorities are doing all they can to locate the suspect. Dennis Franks is a retired FBI supervisory special agent. I got his take on the manhunt.
It is a local and state investigation, and the FBI is assisting. So it's not terribly surprising that Director Patel did not speak, although it does strike me as a little unusual. Secondly, these investigations take some time. I think that obviously the state and local, authorities have their resources. The FBI has come in, and without a doubt, the FBI has established a command post, which entails a crisis management infrastructure with analysts in computer systems, in ciphering through all the leads that come in, all the tips that come in. They're analyzed, and then leads are given to investigators to go out. They've obviously looked at all the video surveillance and from attendees as well as the campus cameras. And what's important in these investigations is the neighborhood canvas is going out, as was referred to earlier, and just knocking on doors, ringing doorbells, talking to people, getting any information they have, any video footage they have. And I suspect that's how they determined where the gun was found, in a wooded area in a neighborhood. They probably was able to track it that way. So I think that's all important. All the analysis of metadata is all important. There are other probably cyber techniques that are being utilized, but it's going to come down largely, I think, to somebody recognizing him. There have been some photos. I just looked at one on social media, which has a very distinct picture of him, a view of his face, even though he's wearing a cap and glasses, which are, obviously pretty good camouflage in some ways, but it is a very good image of his face. Somebody's going to recognize him. In that person or persons, more likely more than one, are going to piece together some things they know, maybe some things he's commented on, things of that nature, and he's going to be identified. I think it's just a matter of time. But then it's a matter of locating him. Where is he? It has been 24 hours, over 24 hours. He could be anywhere. He could be hiding out somewhere. He could have crossed state lines. He could have been, perhaps even in Canada by now, or further south. So, but this is just typical, part of an investigation of this nature. With the resources that are devoted to it and the public's help, which is very important. I think it's just a matter of time before he's identified, and he'll eventually be located. I mean, it took over 5 years to find Eric Rudolph, who was the Atlanta, Olympics bomber back decades ago, and he was hiding in the mountains of North Carolina. So I don't think it's going to take that long. I hope not, but he will be found eventually.
Yeah, Dennis, while we were looking at the images of him climbing down from that rooftop, I mean, the images are quite far away and quite grainy, and they are hard to make out. But you mentioned about the weapon found in the wooded area. Even from the still shots, it's hard to see a weapon in any of those shots, so, which raises, I suppose, more questions of where the weapon was, specifically where it was found, and also if he left it perhaps behind. It's just hard to say. I mean, we're looking at the images now, and it's very hard to make out whether or not he has a weapon or a rifle in particular with him. Just want to get your thoughts on his ability, or the shooter's ability, to carry out what he's done and be able to conceal evidence of like a firearm or and more sort of evidence like that?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, you know, the question is, was he an experienced shooter? Was he a sniper? Did he have sniper training? I don't think that's necessary, because anybody who has trained at a firearms range with a rifle, with a scope, the optics are important. They've trained, 150-yard shot is not that difficult. However, it is very difficult when the stressors are applied. In other words, if somebody's going to do this, they've got to be concerned about being recognized. Are they going to be shot at? There are a lot of stressors that go into place. Anytime somebody, even a trained sniper, takes a shot, and they train for this, they go through the stressors. They will run, they will go through calisthenics, and they have to sit down and shoot. I mean, even FBI snipers have to shoot a cue ball from 200 yards after running in calisthenics, and they have to shoot it 3 times, not just once, but 3 of them from 200 yards. So for him to be able to do this, yes, I don't think that he was necessarily...
carry on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I don't think he had to necessarily be trained, but he probably had experience. If he's from the area, he's probably a hunter. So he's adept at being able to zero in rifles with the optics, with the scope. But it still required a lot of confidence to be able to take the shot and to be able to execute it and hit where it did. I mean, whether he was aiming for the head or the torso, upper torso, or the neck, it doesn't matter. For him to be able to hit that, it was luck or skill, and it requires a lot of confidence. It requires controlling the breath, taking in windage, in account for windage and things of that nature. So also, it appears he had the gun disassembled in his backpack and went up the stairs, and probably, you know, a lot of guns, you can take the barrel off, you can put it back on, and then evidently he took time to disassemble it and put it back in his backpack. Now, it is a mystery to me why he dumped it, why he discarded the weapon where he did, where it could be found. Unless he was afraid that he would be, you know, located later with it on him. So there's evidence there. There's obviously, you know, prints on the gun, probably DNA. So it is a matter of time too. He may not have prints, you know, on record, but he will be, you know, determined. He will be discovered at some point. The other thing I wanted to point out about him, having the confidence and being able to put aside any fears, is that he was on a mission. It's clear that he had his own personal ideology that he was going to accomplish this. He was going to carry this out, regardless of whatever fears, whatever he may encounter. And I tend to think that from a behavioral standpoint that he acted alone. My experience is with, you know, not only terrorists, but mass shooters, is that there are these lone wolves, and I refer to them as malcontents looking for a cause. They look for a cause to be a part of, to make it bigger than themselves, to carry out whatever they're disgruntled about. And I think this person fits that profile.
Yeah, Dennis, and just one last question for you. What are you looking out for next, then, that will sort of tell us which way or how close the FBI is getting?
You know, the press conferences are important to glean whatever they have. And again, this last one, I don't think there was a lot of new information other than the video, which was good to see. The frequency and the amount of information delivered in the press conferences will tell us a lot. At some point, there may be fewer conferences. And again, I think that we all have to be patient, that this may take some time. But you know, I think you know, there's more likely than not that he will be identified. And then it's a matter of how much time it takes to find him. And that's an open question.